Well, hello, my friends. Welcome back to another episode. I'm super happy to be here with you. And today I have a great guest with me, Emily Drury. She's Director of Marketing of Voice, which Voice is a company that's making NFTs accessible to everyone. Yes, even to you and me. So don't go anywhere. It's going to be really a great show, particularly if you've been kind of listening or hearing all these things about NFT. You don't know what it is exactly. You know how it works. Or maybe you do, but now you're wondering, so which platform is the right one for me? Stay tuned. It's going to be great.
Resources, inspiring interviews, business practices, and practical advice to take your art career to the next level. Join Sergio Gomez in today's Artist Next Level and get ready to take control of your career.
Well, hi, Emily. Good to see you. How are you?
I'm great. I'm so happy to be here.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. I know you are busy. You run a really great community in Discord for Voice, and you are Director of Marketing. And so I know you have a really busy role. Thank you for making the time, particularly, as we talk about a technology that's, recently, has been like at the headlines of many newspapers, many tech magazines in the art world with artists and so on. So there's a lot of information. There's good and bad. There's a lot of confusion too, and there are a lot of choices, right? And there's a learning curve to it. And you're gonna help us to kind of dissect a little bit of that, to what's important for us. And as you talk about this company called Voice, which is going to really help artists, and making their NFTs available. And so, first of all, Emily, thank you. Give us just in a few sentences, what's the whole kind of mission of Voice?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's fun that you started off by talking about, first of all, like how NFTs are everywhere right now. It feels like you can't escape them. And in many ways, we hope you don't want to. Because we really think that they are the future of information sharing online. So what Voice is set out to do is to, above all, support creators. So we've been working on a way to use blockchain technology to make the digital world a better place for creators. And we found that NFTs are one of the best ways to do that. So our goal is supporting creators using NFT technology, and ideally with the end goal of creating economic potential for creators and their communities. So we live in a world where everyone's sharing content all the time on all these platforms, and they're not often seeing a lot of reward for that.
Right.
And we want to kind of flip the script and say, like, no, you online, you're producing work that has value, and you deserve to earn from that.
Well, Emily, that's pretty awesome. I love, what you guys are doing. And now, what I would like to start with also is give us a brief, easy to understand description of what is an NFT. And I love to ask this everyone that I interview talking about NFTs, because everybody has kind of like their own kind of simplified way of doing it. So you're talking to an artist, that you run out into in the elevator, what would you say? So, Emily, what's an NFT?
I love this question. So it stands for non-fungible token. Basically, it means that you are connecting a digital asset. It's usually an image, a video, or a GIF, but it can be anything. You're connecting that digital asset to the blockchain, and you're creating basically proof of ownership. And why this is so valuable for the art world is that you are, you now have a way to buy and sell something that didn't used to be possible. And so NFT technology really makes that, like, the sharing of digital goods possible.
Mm-hmm. And something that I, when NFT started to come out and I started to learn more about it and talking to many of the artists and people in the industry, something that got me really excited about it is that for the very first time, artists who created work digitally, they now had the option to participate without having to take that outside of the digital world into the physical world. Because back then, I've been in the art world for a long time. If you created anything digitally, you had to like print it in order to show it at a gallery, right? Later then came monitors and then more video stuff. But before, artists who were working with digital media, they had to print it. And the moment you take something that was inherently created in the digital format, you take it out of here, now you put it in paper or canvas or whatnot, any other medium, it changes. It is no longer, that true essence in which it was created for. So with the NFT around, now artists can participate and they don't have to turn that into something else. It can exist as a digital asset, stay as a digital asset, be transferred as a, ownership of it as a digital asset from this point forward.
Yeah, I think it really levels the playing field for creators of all types, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that they've been around for years, right? Like digital artists, that's not a new phenomenon, but
Right.
the idea that they can buy and sell their work in a very fair capacity is brand new. And I spend a lot of time talking to artists, and
Mm-hmm.
by far, like that is the most exciting piece for them, is that they're able to also not just put their work up and allow it to be a part of the marketplace, but start to value their work, right?
Right. Right.
Like a lot of artists have told me they've struggled as video creators to know exactly what their art is worth because they can't buy and sell it. And I think that what's so interesting is you've mentioned this idea of like the art world used to be entirely physical, and then now there wasn't a place for digital folks, and now in the NFT space we're also having a similar conversation where we're actually like now taking the digital world and often bringing it out into the physical world. And part of that is like a way of making people familiar with what NFTs can be, right? So we've been doing like NFT exhibitions in the real world, and we have these digital frames that we bring for
Right.
people to put their video art up on them. And by like people react, they're like, I didn't expect that I would ever see a piece of video art in a gallery.
Exactly.
And so it's really amazing to kind of like blur those boundaries and to see all of the possibilities that are just going to keep continuing to open
Exactly.
up.
And for the matter of fact, not only the gallery, museums, now art fairs. I was at Art Basel, Miami, and there was a lot of things. You guys had your own also exhibition in Miami, so it's great, to see kind of like all these worlds converging together, and people who perhaps at some point, maybe did not feel that they could have a say or an entry into that too. And I think at the end of the day, my philosophy is like when one of us wins, we all win. You know,
Yes.
as artists, no matter what kind of art you make, if you win, we all as artists win because art is more appreciated around the world by more people.
Yeah.
And I think that you guys have taken kind of like that approach too, and making it accessible. Because I think when I started looking at NFTs last year in 2021, there was a price entry, a barrier of price entry, the gas fees, which continue to rise. There were also the knowledge, right? How to do it, how to mint it, what all this new vocabulary that had to be learned. And so there's this learning curve. And something that I really found is that the NFT community were and are still, very open and very helpful. I mean, I've spent a lot of time on Twitter groups, just listening to really, really amazing people. Some who are very successful, some who are starting, but sharing ideas and sharing their projects and helping each other out. And so, tell me about how Voice, helps an artist or a creator, access this technology without having all that initial, learning curve, and also point of entry, the variable point of entry of the price point of gas fees.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that like I'll first start by saying it is an amazing space to be in right now because the NFT community is incredibly welcoming. I think like because there seems like there's so much potential ahead of us, and there really is. And we exactly as you said, when one of us wins, we all win. And I love working in a space that's like that. So basically, when we set out to build Voice, we saw exactly what you mentioned. We saw that it was really hard to get into NFTs. It required knowledge, money, time, and it felt like it was rapidly becoming a very exclusive opportunity for people.
Mm-hmm.
And so we built Voice to eliminate all of those barriers. And the way that we did it is because we're built on a different blockchain than a lot of the existing marketplaces are, we inherently kind of eliminate some of those barriers. So for example, because of our consensus mechanism, we don't have gas fees. So you can go ahead onto Voice, create an account, and mint an NFT for free.
Mm-hmm.
And you can do that in about 5 minutes, actually not even, in a few minutes, because you also do not have to have a crypto wallet connected. So you make an
Makes
account
sense.
with an email address, just kind of familiar, like how you would make an account on any other website right now. And you go ahead and start minting those NFTs. And the other thing that our blockchain allows for is a carbon neutral NFT experience. So a lot of the headlines that came out around NFTs over the last year is how destructive they are for the environment. And actually, it's not the NFT that itself that's bad for the environment. It's the blockchain that they're typically run on, which is Ethereum.
Mm-hmm.
And so by using a different chain, we're able to also mitigate that as a concern. And I would say the last thing, the knowledge barrier, is like, it's a new industry, right? You would expect it to be complex and hard to get into. And because right now, or prior to Voice, you often had to understand cryptocurrency. And
Mm-hmm.
it's not a thing you can understand in just a few minutes.
Right.
And we kind of eliminated that as well, by allowing account creation with an email address, and also by allowing purchasing with credit cards. So you no longer have to have crypto in a wallet and in order to get started collecting. So not only does it make it easier for the creators who are minting for free, but it also expands the network of potential collectors for them, because people can pull out a credit card, and that's a very
Mm-hmm.
comfortable consumer behavior at this point.
Yeah, that's great. So in this case, for the collectors who are coming into Voice, can they use also their crypto, or they have to? Or in other words, is that option that they have? They can choose which way they want to, acquire
Yes.
the work.
So we have heavily prioritized credit card purchasing. There is a way to purchase with crypto if you transfer it to USDC, the
Okay,
stablecoin. So
that's fine.
we do allow for people to onboard USDC onto the platform, and you can make that transfer in an external capacity and then bring that onto the Voice platform. In 2022, we are going to, broaden the opportunities for what like purchasing methods as well as withdrawal. But we really, when we started out, we said, okay, like what is the easiest point A to be to get somebody who's never done anything in NFTs to get them up and running, and that was credit card purchasing.
Yeah, and I think that's remarkable what you guys are building. And from what I understand, it is still beta, right? You guys are still in beta, or
Yes.
slowly.
Yes. So we are still in beta, because we're still building every single day. New things are rolling out on the platform. We're building really intentionally. So the nice thing about where we're at as a company is that we are building for the long term, for 1 year, 5 year, 10 years out, really like viewing NFTs as part of an ecosystem for the internet of the future. So we aren't really rushing to kind of catch the current NFT craze. And so that allows us to build strategically. Every single functionality, every feature that we have, we've developed in collaboration with creators on our platform to make sure that we're prioritizing what our users want us to build, which feels like an obvious way of doing business, but at the same time, like we're able to do that because again, we're looking far out. But everything, if your ultimate goal is to support creators, then why not make sure they're a part of the entire
Right.
process?
Right. No, I love it. And speaking of that, supporting creators, you guys using Discord to kind of round the community together, and you're a big part of that. Working there, I know because I signed up for Voice, so I watch what you guys are doing. This is awesome. So tell me about we have a lot of artists probably watching this or listening to the podcast. Say, well, I'm a traditional artist. I'm a painter or sculptor, or do drawings or whatnot. I really don't do digital work. What's in it for me? What can I do? What would an NFT do for me? I think that's the big question. So since you work with artists all day, every day, what do you see some more on the artists on the traditional space doing with NFTs, in particularly on Voice?
Yeah, absolutely. That has been one of the most enjoyable experiences, actually, is getting to work with individual artists and explore this space together. So we definitely have a lot of people who, work in a very physical realm where they say, like, I need to be with my paintbrush. I need, like, we work with sculptors and photographers, and like a lot of like, stuff is happening with your hands in like tangible real life. I think the benefit of NFTs is that you can kind of build upon your practice and just in another way. So, the easiest way obviously is for folks to take a picture of a painting, tokenize it, and then you have both the NFT version of the painting to sell, which you can do at a much more reasonable price point, and then you can still sell the physical painting to somebody who wants to collect it in real life. Or you can kind of like create something new altogether. So we worked with the artist Zoe Buckman. She was a part of our residency this summer, and she makes these beautiful like physical sculptures, right? That you often like you can walk around them to really experience them. And what she ended up doing for her NFTs is she worked with a videographer to take these like stunning videos, like 360 videos of her sculptures, and then worked with musicians to set them to music. And it created this entirely new piece that was just like a work of art in itself, but it was really based off of her original physical piece. So I think we're going to see a lot more experimentation. And the nice thing about a platform like Voice is that because it's not costing an artist anything to mint, they can use it as a place to find new collectors and to also like explore new mediums and different price points, because you can put something up and see if there's demand for it, and if there is, you make more. If there's not, you play around with the price point and with the way that you're distributing their work.
Right. And so in terms of the resale or the sales of the NFTs that are under the platform of Voice, then at the time of sale, then there's a charge percentage from Voice. That's kind of how it works.
Yeah. So a Voice takes a 5% fee on primary sales, and then on secondary sales, it's 2.5%. So, and we also do appreciation earning on secondary sales, so that the original creator of a work is always going to earn a percentage of appreciation when their work is resold in the secondary market. And I mean, this is just one of the benefits of blockchain, right? Is that all of those transactions just happen. So an artist doesn't have to, calculate out there, what is my percentage every time my piece gets resold. It happens automatically, and they're forever connected and linked to their work. And it's really beautiful to watch a piece, change hands, and know that like that's all transparent and all out there for everyone to see.
Right. No, that's exciting. Something that I love about this space too is that there are no specific like rules in terms of what you can imagine you could do with it. I've seen artists do all kinds of things with it. Some of the samples that you said, other artists who are using it almost like creating a community for their work, or something that unlocks content of some sort. You buy the NFT, then it gives you accessibility to other things, within that artist brand, events, or limited editions, etc. I think there are so many ideas out there that it's crazy. You can spend all day just listening to people's ideas of what they're coming up with, and that makes it very very interesting. Tell me about also in terms of collectors coming into Voice, how do they find artists there?
Yeah. So first thing I want to comment on the idea of like using NFTs for different purposes.
Oh, yeah.
This is the next era, right? So primary era is kind of a very like a mirroring of the real world art market, like a buy and sell functionality. Like we've got that, it's happening already. But the next era is utility for these NFTs, and we are already seeing people explore that with tickets and access, as you said, and we're building out feature functionality for our platform based on how people are using them to connect to their communities, and that's like that ultimate goal of monetizing communities. So I'm really excited that you brought that point up. But in terms of collectors, one thing that's really exciting is that NFTs have also turned an entirely new population of people into art collectors. So where like many people might not have the means or the interest in owning like a big physical work, they might be online and like feel like they want to support an artist, and the NFT is a perfect way to do that. So more often than not, collectors are coming in through each individual artist. So this artist is minting their work, then they're sharing it out with their community. We've seen a lot of friends and family be able to support artists for the first time because they're able to price their NFTs at a more approachable price point than they might be able to price like a large scale painting. And so there's a lot of like community building happening around, like surrounding each individual creator. And then what happens is that collector comes onto the platform, they support their friend, they buy one of their pieces, and then they see another piece that they like, and then it kind of snowballs from there. I have to say, personally experienced this. It's a little addicting because once you have one beautiful piece in your collection, you're like, this feels amazing. Like I have this piece, and then I also supported an artist, and it's very transparent where that money is going. So people like once they start collecting, they tend to keep going.
That's great. And when an artist creates an account in Voice, then every artist kind of has a profile where you follow that artist, you can see all the different works that artist continues to release through Voice. Does it happen the same thing for collector? Let's say if a collector buys different pieces, can he or she look at all the pieces within Voice and kind of share that with others?
Yeah, it actually happens on the same profile. And we do that because actually, like in our research of the NFT space and really the art world, like so many of the people who were collecting pieces were fellow artists, right? Who just like supporting their community around them. So on your profile page, you have both, pieces you've collected and pieces you've created, right side by side. So we're definitely exploring, different ways of displaying that. Because some people are collecting for different purposes, right? For display or for resale or so we're working on different ways to showcase that. But right now it's all housed on the same profile.
Understand. Awesome. Super. Well, I think, as you said, right now we're just starting. This is like the beginning of something that's going to continue growing, and more and more new features you guys will be releasing, and, both for that can help both the collector and the artist or the creator, putting this out there too, in order to share it with others, and making, online galleries and things like that, to make it super easy for people to not only share their creations, but others to also share what they are collecting, to showcase the things that they are adding to their collection as well. So Emily, it's really fun talking to you, because it sounds like, we just met right now here through this. It sounds like you are very excited for this platform and for NFTs in general, and particularly working with artists. Now let's talk about you really quickly. You as a person, as Emily, right, outside of Voice and everything else. What do you like to collect? What kind of art moves you? You don't have to say like names, but like what kind of art kind of moves you as an individual?
Wow. Yeah, that is a big question. I'm a big reader, so I don't know if you consider literature art, but I certainly do. So I read a lot. I'm trying to get into poetry. And I think like I'm very moved by stories of the human existence. And so that has, books like I just bought one from a new author who wrote all these stories of people she encountered in the subway in New York City. And I think that those kinds of written portraiture are really valuable to humanity.
No, that's awesome. And I think there are many ways in which we express our feelings and emotions, through the different forms of creativity, art, visual art, music, poetry, the written word. I was actually, I think, yesterday in one of the Instagram, on the Twitter groups, a guy was sharing his poetry that he is converting into NFT, and it was really beautiful, and it's really moving. And I think again, this provides another avenue for all these convergence of creativity can continue to evolve and happen.
Absolutely. I can't wait until there's more books on the blockchain. That's going to be really exciting for me personally.
Exciting. And just as kind of side note, Voice is based where?
Brooklyn, New York. But we've got a pretty global team though. So we've got some folks scattered all around the US.
Super. Well, Emily, you've been so awesome. We don't want to leave this without helping our friends to go and check it out. and helping them to create their profile and just get curious about it. I always, go see what's there. You guys' website is super easy to follow. You guys have everything nicely in order, really, to move you through quickly. So if you could, Emily, tell our friends how they can find out more information about Voice, and more importantly, how can they try it out?
Absolutely. Voice.com. I'm really proud of that domain there. Right once you get to our homepage, you'll see a button where you can sign up. Like I said earlier, you can sign up in probably a minute flat. It's a really nice, quick and easy process. And there's also a ton of resources on our site. There's a really robust FAQ. And there's also a blog that features both kind of educational pieces about what NFTs are, how you should start pricing them, how, what to do when you're getting started. And then there's also some stories on there about different artists that we've worked with. So definitely a place to check out as you're getting into the NFT space. So voice.com.
Awesome. And your Instagram, where can our friends follow you there?
Yes, of course. On social, we are at Voice HQ.
Voice HQ. Okay. Now, on a side note, really quickly, I noticed that you guys had also a voice residency program or some sort. Tell us about that. I think that many artists might be interested on that.
Yeah, so we last summer, as we were getting ready to launch our beta platform, we had a residency where we worked with established curators from different types of the art, in different places in the art world, and they selected some artists to basically explore NFTs for the first time. And we provided those artists with the resources, the technologists, everything that they needed to really get started in the world of NFTs. And those artists were some of the first folks who helped inform the platform as it is today. So we're still dropping collections from that residency now, and will be for the next few months. And then now we're working on, what do we do in 2022? How do we take the best of that program and bring it forward to continue to serve our creators? So definitely more to come on that as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Emily. I think you have given us so much to really think about, so much to really continue exploring. Thank you for this wonderful and lively introduction into what Voice is all about. And we want to wish you great success in the future, not only for you but the whole company, and continue growth on that. And for all the artists who are already in the platform as well, please do, if you are listening to this through the podcast or if you're watching this video, please share it with all your friends as well. So particularly for those who are kind of interested on this, but the price of entry or the learning curve has been kind of a huge block. I think this could be a great solution for that as well. So thank you, Emily, and we'll see you next time. Hopefully we get to meet in person at one of your events in the future.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. This has been so fun.
Excellent. Well, goodbye, friends. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you later. Goodbye.
Check out our website at www.theartistnextlevel.com, where you will find our podcast library, learn about our upcoming webinars, find resources relevant to your career, and much more. Thanks for listening to today's podcast, and we'll see you at the next level.